All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to iBUG Today's iBUG Cafe. This is episode 83. Today is March 13th, 2022. My name is Sree Roy. I'm your host. I am joined here by my presenters, Herbie Allen and Marian Balgruber. Today's topic is going to be getting from A to B. How do we get to A to B? Okay, before we start, we're going to go over the housekeeping rules. This presentation is being recorded for our podcast as well as our YouTube. And if you are a YouTuber, definitely subscribe and click like to our channel. We'd greatly appreciate that. So before we start, we're going to go ahead and mute everyone. And the way this is going to work is during our presentation, we mute everyone so that our recording quality can be at its best. When we open it up for Q&A, I will kindly ask you to unmute yourself, you state your name, and then I will call upon you. And when I call upon you, I kindly ask everyone else stay muted till the conversation comes to a complete end, and then we will proceed to the next person. So how do we mute ourselves? So if you have a smartphone, your mute button is located on the bottom left. If you have an iPad, your mute button is located on the top middle, and it's a one-finger double tap to toggle between mute and unmute. If you are on a Windows or a Mac machine computer, if you're on the Mac, it is Shift-Command-A to mute yourself. On a Windows, it's Alt-A. And of course, you can use the space bar to hold down to unmute yourself. And when you're finished with your conversation, you can release the space bar and you'll go back on mute. If you're on a landline, it's going to be *6 to toggle between mute and unmute. And we do not recognize the raised hand at the cafe. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and send it to Michael, who's going to tell us what amazing things are occurring at iBUG today this week. So Michael, you have the mic.
All right, thank you, Sree. Appreciate it. Yeah, so coming up here in the next week, got several meetings and social events. Starting out tomorrow evening, Monday, March the 14th, I guess it is, at 7 p.m. All the times I'll be giving you our central time. 7 p.m. we have our iBUG Buzz. That's our open Q&A help session for iOS users. Then on Tuesday at 5 p.m. we have Mac Buzz. That's the iOS Q&A help session for Mac users, and that'll be on our Clubhouse app. Wednesday, for all the Android users out there and Alexa and Amazon users of various Android devices, we have Android Insight. That'll be Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central, and that's right back here on this very same Zoom line. Then Thursday, any Trekkies out there, we have our iBUG Trekkie Talk. That's our Star Trek discussion group, where we're currently watching Star Trek The Next Generation Season 4. And I believe we're looking at 6 and 7 episodes. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong there.
8 and 9, sir.
Oh, 8 and 9. I've been corrected. So episodes 8 and 9, and you watch those ahead of time, and then we come together at 8 p.m. on Thursday evening to discuss those right here on this same Zoom channel. Then Friday, rounding out the week, we have our ever popular Friday night at the virtual movies, 7:30 p.m. for our pre-movie social, 8 p.m. for the movie start, and then we stick around afterwards and have a critique and discussion of the movie along with some fun trivia. So, and our movie for this week, well, join us Monday night. That's where we have our reveal of what the feature is going to be for Friday. Also, you can always find it on our website later in the week and get on our mailing list, which you can always find on our website. If you're not already on the mailing list, you can join that by going to our website, ibugtoday.org. And there you'll find a link that says register to join iBUG, and that will get you on our mailing list, and you'll get notified of all these different meetings and social events coming up. So that's what we have coming up for the next week. Also, we have a Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/iBug today. And we have, that's a good place to get information about upcoming events, as well as if you have questions that come up in between our regular meetings, you can always post them there and have people answer those there. Additionally, we have you can follow us on our Twitter site. Our Twitter handle is @iBugToday, and lots of good information being tweeted. We retweeted out there. So that's all the announcements I have for this week. So I'll turn it back over to you, Sree.
How about
Oh, no, one more announcement. Little bug in my ear.
A big
We are
bug.
currently having a drawing, our $500 Apple gift card drawing. And so a very low donation of $10 will get you an entry into the drawing. Or you can get 6 tickets for $50. And we'll be giving that gift card away at our anniversary, our 11th anniversary meeting, Apple Workshop meeting in May. So got plenty of time to enter that and find out all the information about that, again, on our website, ibugtoday.org. All right, now back to you, Sree.
All right, Michael, thank you. And definitely everyone check out our website. There's a lot of things going on there. So before we get started, we're going to do our icebreaker question. And the question for today is, what is your favorite travel destination? And so we're going to open up the mic. We're going to unmute everyone. So we're going to ask you to state your name, where you're calling from. And if you're first time to the cafe, just let me know this is your first time you're calling. And the icebreaker question is, what is your favorite travel destination? So Sandhya or Michael, if you can unmute, and then
You're
we'll
all
go around the
set.
table.
This is Herbie in Houston, and my favorite travel destination is coming back home.
All right, well, thank you, Herbie. Welcome.
This is Davita from Reston, Virginia. My favorite travel destination is Alaska.
All right, welcome, Davita.
This is Veronica Alston from Connecticut, and it's my first time, and my destination is Hawaii.
Oh, wait, and I apologize. I didn't quite catch your name. What was your name?
Veronica Alston.
I'm Veronica. And how did you hear about the cafe?
I got the email from someone, so I just decided to join. I think it's the NFB listserv, I think. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, welcome. Really appreciate it. All right, who's next?
Dana from Dana
Go ahead,
from
Dana.
Cincinnati. Yeah, Dana from Cincinnati, and my favorite vacation spot is probably Myrtle Beach in South Carolina.
All right, welcome, Dana. Next.
This is Richard Petty in Houston, and my favorite destination is San Francisco.
All right, welcome, Richard.
This is Wilhelmina from Philadelphia. My destination is Sedona, Arizona.
All right, welcome.
This is Dan from Southern California, and my favorite destination is Oregon.
Oh, welcome, Dan.
This is Nancy Greenberg from Arlington, Virginia. It's my first time at the meeting, and my favorite destination is Florida, especially.
What? And how did you hear about us?
I heard about it from Sree.
Must be a nice guy.
Yeah, he is.
Whatever.
All right, well, welcome. All right, who's next?
This is Helene from Phoenix. My favorite destination is Acadia National Park in Maine.
All right, welcome, Helene. All right, who's next?
This is Marian from Tennessee, and I'd have to say my favorite is Portland, Oregon to visit my sister.
Welcome, Marian. All right, who's next?
This is Paul from Arlington, Virginia, and I would say currently would be the Denver, Colorado area.
All right, welcome, Paul.
This is Jody from New Hampshire. And my favorite destination would probably be Ireland, although I've never been there.
And welcome, Jody.
Hi, Sree.
Welcome. Who's next?
This is Linda.
And where's your
And
favorite
my
destination?
favorite destinations would be wherever my grandkids are. So that would be Michigan or Maine.
All right, well, welcome.
Thank you.
This is Marie from Reno, and my favorite destination is also Hawaii. And this is my first time in the cafe
And how did you hear about us in the cafe?
because I get all of the iBUG event alerts and emails.
All right, great. Welcome.
Bridget Dozier. I think this is my first time in the cafe, and my favorite destination is whenever I can get out because I'm not, I don't go a lot of places. So wherever I can just get out and walk.
That's great, Bridget. And Bridget, how did you hear about us? I know you've been in other calls.
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right. Anyone else?
I'm sorry about the emails. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Who's next?
Thomas Hutchinson from Grand Junction, Colorado. And this is my first iBUG Cafe. And I heard about it both through email and on the Monday iBuzz or iBuzz, whatever you call it. And then also the movie night and also on Clubhouse. So I'm trying to make the rounds here.
Welcome, Thomas.
This
And what's
is
your
my
favorite
first
destination?
cafe. Any state that has an amusement park.
All right, great. Welcome. All right, who's next?
This is Sandhya from Houston, and I think I'll have to go with Richard. San Francisco is my favorite place.
San Francisco. How about you, Michael?
Michael in Texas. My favorite city would be Prague.
Prague. Okay.
This is Chris.
Hey, Chris. Welcome.
My favorite destination is Margaritaville.
All right. Anyone else?
This is Ned.
Yeah, go ahead, Ned.
Yes, my favorite destination place would either be Paris or London.
Ah, great places. Okay, welcome. All right. Anyone else?
Terry Walker.
Hey, Terry, welcome.
Yeah, my favorite destination, I guess anywhere I could get into a pipe organ concert.
All right, well, welcome. All right, anyone else? Going once, going twice. Well, I'll go ahead and conclude. Mine is, from what I've heard, when it's cold, we go to Cancun. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Before the presentation, I just want to make a few comments. And the thing I wanted to say is, in the past few years, most of us, we make some conscious decision whether we want to go out or not. And most of us kind of stayed local. And as things are getting better now, maybe a few of us might be thinking, it may be okay to take a vacation. And if that is the case, that you might be interested in taking a vacation, what we're going to offer today, you might find some benefit in the apps that we present to you. So I want to talk about a few things about why taking a vacation is very important. And I'm going to talk about from more from a medical perspective. Sorry. So, sorry. I'm going to give some medical reasons, or from a doctor's perspective, why it's important to take a vacation. But first, what I wanted to say is when you do take a vacation, it is a vacation. It's been proven that statistically that 27% of us take our work when we go on vacation. So what I'm going to talk about, the benefits, is about vacation, not workation. It's purely vacation. So when you take a vacation, studies have shown that you strive to be a better person when you go on vacation. Vacations are good for your heart. Going on vacation leads to less being depressed, and you find more meaningful in life. It's also good for family life. Going on vacation is a stress buster. And when you come back from vacation, your productivity at work increases. And also studies have shown that when you come back from vacation, you tend to sleep 1 hour longer than you did prior to going on vacation. And what does that all mean? I'll take it from Spock. We all like Star Trek, right? He always says, live long and prosperous. So going on vacation, studies have shown that you tend to live longer. And that's what I wanted to talk about, the importance of taking a vacation. Now, before we start our presentation, I do want to let you know that we're going to be running on iOS 15.3.1. So it's the current latest version. So these will be the current version. And then after each of the presentation, we'll open it up for some Q&A. So with that said, Sandhya, I have a question for you. Since I mentioned Cancun is my favorite place to go, in my presentation, where do you think I'm going to be going?
Where do I think you're going to be going?
Yeah.
Okay, you live in a cold climate and you have some family here. Maybe you're going to guess Houston or Dallas?
All right. So, Michael, can you go ahead and start my part of the presentation? Let's find out where I'm going to be traveling.
Where in the world is
Hello,
Sree
everyone.
going?
My name is Sree. I just mentioned all the benefits in taking a vacation, but I also know it can be very stressful to plan your vacation. I'm going to go ahead and suggest an app that might help alleviate some of that stress. And that app is called Travelocity. And it's spelled Travelocity. You can search it on the App Store or ask Siri to find it on the App Store, and you can download it for absolutely free. In my presentation, I'm going to talk about the benefits that I've experienced using Travelocity. I'm also going to show you what's on the home screen by reviewing the buttons and tabs. I will show you how to set up a new account. I will show you the sightseeing feature. I will plan a trip. And finally, I'll show you what happens after I book a trip. And in this example, I'm going to plan a trip leaving from Washington, D.C. and heading over to iBUG Today's hometown of Houston, Texas. So to all my friends in Houston, Texas, when I knock on your front door, I hope you give me the Southern hospitality. And I don't mean opening the front door and taking me straight to the back door. So with that said, let's get started and see how Travelocity works. Let's take a look at the benefits that I've experienced in using Travelocity. And I'm going to give 3 examples. First, this is an a la carte app. And what I mean by that is that I could plan my airfare, or my hotel, or my car rental, or a cruise, or even an entire vacation plan just by using this app. Second, I've also noticed that at times going to Travelocity to book my airfare seems to be cheaper than going to the airline's website to plan my flight. And finally, Travelocity has been around. They have a pretty good reputation. And for me, at the end of the day, I just want to get the best vacation deal that I can afford. And Travelocity does a pretty good job in doing that. Now let's take a look at the app. As I mentioned before, the app install is very straightforward, just like any other app. And when you launch the app for the first time, you're going to get 2 alerts. Your notification alert and send notification alert. And either you can accept or deny these alerts. Now let's take a look at the layout of the home screen. We have buttons on the top row, as well as 3 tabs in the bottom row. I'm going to let VoiceOver speak what these buttons are, going from left to right by simply swiping right.
Travelocity home screen. Heading. Search stays. Button. Search flights. Button. Search vacation packages. Button. Search cars. Button. Search things to do. Button. Search cruises. Button.
That actually says search cruises. And I'm going to go ahead and swipe right for the final button.
Open chat button.
And these are the buttons that you will find on top of the screen. Now, if I swipe right, I'm going to land on some of the advertisement on the home screen.
Travel like a pro. Sign in to share.
And if I swipe right again,
Sign in button.
I'm in the sign in button. So if you already have an account, you could sign in. I'm going to swipe right.
Create account button.
And if I go in here, I can create a new account. And if I swipe right again, I'm going to reach more advertisement on the home screen.
Has COVID-19 changed your trap?
Finally, let's take a look at the tabs on the bottom of the screen. I'm going to do a touch and explore till I get to the bottom left.
Selected. Shop travel. Tab. 1 of 3.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and swipe right.
Trips. Tab. 2 of 3.
And finally swipe right.
Account. Tab. 3 of 3.
Okay, these are the buttons and tabs that you'll find once you first launch the Travelocity app. The next section I'm going to cover is creating a new account. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till I hear Create an Account button and then double tap to select it.
Create account button. Create. Close button.
This opened up a new sheet where I need to fill out some information. Let's take a look at what it's asking for. As I swipe right,
Sign in. Tab 1 of 2. Selected. Create account. Tab 2 of 2. First name. Text field. Last name. Text field. Email address. Text field. Create password. Text field.
okay, those are the things that I need to fill out. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out and come right back. Now I have filled in all the information and I'm ready to create an account. There is a license agreement, which I've already bypassed. And I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till I hear Create My Account, and I'm going to double tap to select it.
Create my account button. Dimmed. Clock. Logo other. Create password. Sign in. Travelocity home screen. Heading.
Now that I've created a new account, let's go to the last tab on the bottom right, which is Account, and we'll take a look at some of the fields that are inside there.
Account. Tab. 3 of 3.
Now that I'm inside the Account tab, there are two fields that I wanted to go over. The first one is the TSA, so I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till I hear it.
TSA information. Add known traveler number or redress number button.
This is where you can enter your TSA information. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right one more time.
Coupons and credits. See coupons and credits available for your next trip button.
Okay, this is where you can find your coupons and credits. There are a few other things in here that you can check out, but those are the two things that I wanted to cover inside the Account tab. The next part of my presentation, I'm going to talk about one of the buttons located on the top of the screen called Search Things to Do. I took an Uber, and Herbie's going to explain in great details how this app works after my presentation to Sandhya's house. I knocked on her front door, but she didn't open it, so I guess it must be her tea time. Well, anyway, since I've never been to Houston, I'm going to use this particular feature on the app to check out what are some of the famous sightseeing places for me to go to. So let's take a look at how this works. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till I hear Search Things to Do. I'm going to double tap to select it.
Search things to do button. Search things to do. Back button.
Now I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till I hear Edit Search button, and then I'm going to double tap to select it.
Edit search button. Close button.
Now I'm going to go ahead and swipe right
Things to do heading.
and swipe right.
Things to do in button.
And I'm going to double tap to select here.
List of enter destination. Text field is editing. Word mode. Insertion point at start.
Now I'm going to do a two-finger double tap and say Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas.
List of 6 inserted Houston, Texas.
I'm provided with a list of places to go check out. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right and let VoiceOver tell me these destinations.
Houston button. Downtown Houston button. Houston, IAH George Bush Intercontinental button. Johnson Space Center NASA button.
Okay, these are some of the options. I think I'm going to go and select Downtown Houston. So I'm going to go ahead and swipe left. And when I hear Downtown Houston, I'm going to do a one-finger double tap to select it.
Downtown Houston button. List of 6 things to do in Downtown Houston button.
Now I'm prompted to select a date for this particular trip. So I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till I hear the month.
Select dates. April 4th to April 4th button.
Double tap to select it.
Select date. Start cancel button.
Now I'm going to go ahead and swipe right.
Start date heading.
Swipe right.
Next button.
Swipe right.
April. Selected. Picker item. Adjustable. 4 of 12.
And I'm going to go ahead and swipe right to select the day.
4. Selected. Picker item. Adjustable. 4 of 30.
Just like the month, the day, all you need to do is flick up or flick down to select the date. So I'm going to go ahead and flick up to select the 5th.
Start date. Tuesday, April 5th, 2022.
And it already selected the year. So I'm going to go ahead and swipe left till I hear next.
April. Selected. Picker item. Next. Button.
I'm going to double tap to select it.
End date. Back. Button.
Now I got to select the end date. So I'm going to go ahead and swipe right.
End date. Heading. Apply. Button. April. Selected. Picker item. Adjustable. 4 of 12.
I'm going to leave April. So I'm going to swipe right.
5. Selected. Picker item. Adjustable. 5 of 30.
Okay, it selected the 5th, which works out well for me. So I'm going to go ahead and leave as it is. And I'm going to go ahead and swipe left till I hear apply.
April. Selected. Apply. Button.
I'm going to double tap to select it.
Select dates. April 5th to April 5th. Button.
Okay, now that my dates are selected, I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till I hear search.
Search. Button.
And double tap to select it.
Search. Back. Button.
Now let's take a look at the options that I have. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right.
Downtown Houston. April 5th. Button.
Okay, it's verified my location and the date. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right.
Edit search. Button.
I have the option to edit the search again. I'm going to swipe right.
Map. Button.
It's provided a map of the location. I'm going to swipe right.
Filters. Sorted by sort and filter. No filter applied. Button.
Okay, it says no filter has been applied. I'm going to go ahead and do a one finger double tap to select it, and we'll take a look at the filter.
Filters. Close. Button.
Now I'm inside the filter. There are a lot of options to pick from, and I'm going to just go through a few of these. And since Michael was very generous to let me borrow the iBUG Today American Express card, yes, it is with the iBUG color, and yes, it's virtual. And you know what I'm talking about. You know those amazing gifts that we win during our movie night? Well, this is the virtual American Express. So let's see how this works. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right.
Selected. Recommended. Radio button.
By default, you'll always land on recommended. And I'm going to go ahead and swipe right.
Unselected. Price. Low to high. Radio button.
This is price from low to high. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right.
Unselected. Price. High to low. Radio button.
This is price from high to low. Since I have this wonderful American Express card, you know what? I'm just going to live high, and I'm going to go ahead and select price from high to low by double tapping.
Selected. Price. High to low. Radio button.
And keep in mind, there are many other filter options that you can select from. If you do make any changes in the filter, you will need to apply it. Otherwise, the filter that you selected won't take effect. The apply button is located all the way down the bottom. So either you're going to do a lot of swiping right or do a 3-finger scroll up till you hear the apply button and double tap to select it.
Apply and close sort and filter. Button. Back. Button.
Now that I've applied a filter, let's see what's on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right.
Filters. Sorted by one filter applied. Change.
Okay, that's the one filter that I've applied, which was the price from high to low. If I wanted to make any more changes to the filter, all I need to do is just do a 1-finger double tap to go into the filter. But I'm going to go ahead and swipe right.
57 things to do.
Okay, there are 57 things for me to do. Wow. Now I'm going to go ahead and swipe right and listen to a few of these.
4-hour full guided fishing trip, $650. Private sightseeing tour to Galveston Island from Houston. Guided tour, love stories of Houston.
Oh, love story. Oh, that sounds very interesting. Perfect. A guided tour. I wonder if they're going to stop at the famous site of the Love Revolutionary. The man. The myth. I wonder if I'll be able to see his house. Let's take a look. I'm going to go ahead and double tap to select it.
Guided tour, love stories of Houston. 2H. Select tickets. Back. Button.
Now that I'm inside this particular tourist attraction, there's lots of information about this activity. I'm just going to look at a few of these. I'm going to swipe right till I hear overview.
Overview. Heading.
And if I swipe right,
bullet, an exclusive tour for all the romantics of the world. Together with the professional local guide, you will visit the most.
Okay, it's going to provide a pretty high-level overview of the trip. And as I continue to swipe right, there's some other things that I wanted to point out.
What's included? Double tap to expand.
Okay, this will tell you what's all included in this particular package. If I swipe right.
Know before you book. Double tap to expand.
And if I double tap, it'll give me some information about this. As I continue to swipe right, I'm eventually going to hear Book Now button.
Book now button.
If I double tap to select it,
Book now. Back button.
finally it took me to a secure checkout page. Obviously, I didn't process this order, but what I can tell you is it provided me a summary of my trip. I had to fill in my personal information as well as my payment. And once I completed my transaction, I would receive an email confirming my 2-hour love tour of Houston, Texas. And this is how it works on the Travelocity app for search for things to do. The next part of my presentation, I'm going to book my flight. Previously, I talked about what I can do while I'm in Houston, but now I got to get to Houston. So I'm going to do a touch and explore on the home screen of my app and listen for search flights and then double tap to select it.
Search flights button. Search flights. Back button.
Now I'm just going to swipe right and listen to what's on the screen.
Flights heading. Selected. Round trip button. 1 of 3. One way button. 2 of 3.
Would I want to stay in Houston? Probably not. Swipe right.
Multi-city button. 3 of 3.
Multi-city. I do have the American Express iBUG Today card. I could visit Brad in Dallas and then fly to Austin and see Steven. I don't think Michael would mind, would he? Maybe I should just stick with round trip this time. Swipe right.
Flying from button.
This is the starting airport. You can either dictate the airport name or you can type in the airport code. I'm going to do a one-finger double tap.
Lit. City or airport. Text field. Is editing. Character mode. Insertion point at start.
I'm going to do a two-finger double tap and state Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C.
Inserted Washington, D.C.
Swipe right.
Flying from. Heading. City or airport. Text field. Washington. Was all airports. Washington. D.C. Ronald Reagan Washington National. Button.
I'm going to go ahead and select that by double tapping.
List of 6. Flying from. Washington. D.C. Ronald Reagan Washington National. Button.
Swipe right.
Flying to. Button.
I'm going to do a one-finger double tap.
City or airport. Text field. Is editing. Character mode. Insertion point at start.
Two-finger double tap to say Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas.
Inserted Houston, Texas.
Swipe right.
Flying to. Heading. City or airport. Houston. IAH George Bush Intercontinental. Button.
One-finger double tap to select it.
List of set. Flying to. Houston. IAH George Bush Intercontinental. Button.
Now that the airports are selected, swipe right.
Select dates. Button.
One-finger double tap.
Select date. Start cancel. Button.
Swipe right.
Start date. Heading.
Swipe right.
Next. Button.
Swipe right.
February. Selected. Picker item. Adjustable. 2 of 12.
Either flick up or flick down to change the month. I'm going to go ahead and flick up to change to April.
Start date. Monday. March 28th. 2022. Start date. Thursday. April 28th. 2022.
Swipe right.
28. Selected. Picker item. Adjustable. 28 of 30.
Now I'm on the date. Either I can flick up or flick down. I'm going to go ahead and change it to the 1st by flicking up.
Start date. Friday. April 29. Start date. Saturday. April 30th. Start date. Friday. April 1st. 2022.
Now I'm going to go ahead and swipe left till I hear next.
April. Selected. Next. Button.
Double tap.
End date. Back. Button.
Swipe right.
End date. Heading. Apply. Button. April. Selected. Picker item. Adjustable. 4-1. Selected. Picker item. Adjustable. 1 of 30.
Now I'm on the date, so I'm going to go ahead and either flick up or flick down. I'm going to go ahead and flick up till I get to the 7th.
End date. Saturday. End date. Sunday. April 3rd. End date. Monday. End date. Tuesday. End date. Wednesday. April 6th. End date. Thursday. April 7th. 2022.
Okay, now my end date is completed, so I'm going to go ahead and swipe left till I hear apply.
April. Selected. Apply. Button.
Double tap to select it.
Select dates. April 1st to April 7th. Button.
Okay, now I've completed setting the starting date and ending date of my trip. Swipe right.
Travelers. 1 traveler. Button.
Okay, this is where I can change the number of passengers. I'm going to just leave it at 1. Swipe right.
Preferred class, economy, button.
Okay, this is where I can change the different class. So I'm going to go ahead and do a one finger double tap to look at my options.
Economy, selected, radio button.
Swipe right.
Premium economy, unselected, radio button. Business class, unselected, radio button. First class, unselected, radio button.
Okay, since I've got a virtual American Express card, and I'm going to live my fantasy, so I'm going to go ahead and select first class by double tapping.
First class, selected, radio button.
I'm going to go ahead and swipe right.
Done, button.
And double tap on done.
Preferred class, first class, button.
Now swipe right.
Search, button.
And one finger double tap.
Search. Washington to Houston. Searching for flights.
Just a friendly reminder that when you do hit the search button, it is going to take a couple of seconds for it to pull up all the information. I'm going to do a touch and explore towards the bottom of the screen to get the first flight information.
American Airlines flight departing at 10 p.m. from 700.
Okay, now you're provided with a list of flights. I'm going to go ahead and select this particular flight by double tapping.
Flight details has opened. Close, button.
Now I'm brought into a detail page, and this flight has 2 layovers, so there's lots of information. I'm going to go ahead and bypass all of this just to save some time and swipe right till I hear continue.
Continue, button.
Double tap to select it.
Washington to search results. Results now sorted by price, lowest.
Now I'm brought into a new page where I have to select my return flight, so I'm going to keep swiping right.
Step 1 of 3, American Airlines flight. DCA to IAH. Change flight from DCA to IAH, button. Step 2 of 3, choose returning flight. Current page. Step 3 of 3, review your trip. American Airlines flight departing at 6:20 a.m. for an additional $0. Select and show fare information for American Airlines flight.
Okay, that is the first return flight option that it's given me, and it's a 0 value. But if I keep swiping right, I'm going to be given other options of different flights that have additional cost. So I'm just going to double tap and select this particular flight.
Flight details has opened. Close, button.
Once again, I'm brought into the detail page where there's lots of information about my return flight. And just to save some time, I'm going to bypass all the verbiage and swipe right till I hear continue and then double tap to select it.
Continue, button. Back, button.
Now I'm presented with the review page. This has all the information about my itinerary. Once again, there's lots of information here, so I'm going to bypass the verbiage and I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till we get towards the bottom of the screen.
View price summary, button.
Okay, I could double tap here to view my price summary, and if I swipe right one more time, it'll be my checkout.
Checkout, button.
Double tap to select it.
Checkout. Back, button. Secure checkout.
Now I'm taken into a secure checkout page, and obviously I'm not going to process this order, but I can tell you there's lots of information about my flight itinerary. I did have to fill out my personal information, a lot more than I did before. I did have to make a payment, as well as I had the option whether I wanted to select insurance or not to have insurance. And once I completed all this, I will have completed my order and I'll either get a text message or an email. And this is how I could book a flight using the Travelocity app. Now that I'm in Houston, I need to find a place to stay. So do I have any takers? Crickets. That's odd. Oh, I know why. It's because Sandhya has everyone muted in the Zoom call. We all know how she loves to mute everyone. By the way, she's probably thinking, oh, Sree, you have no friends. So the next part of my presentation, I'm going to talk about how I can rent a hotel and a car. So let's take a look at how that works. When it comes to renting a hotel or a car, I do have some options on the Travelocity app. I could go to the home screen and do a touch and explore till I hear search stays and book a hotel. And there are some hotels that allows me to either pay now or pay when I arrive using the app. Or I could do a touch and explore on the search car and rent my vehicle that way. But if I plan to do both, I'm definitely going to save some more money if I go to the package plan. And I can do that by going to the home screen and doing a touch and explore till I hear search vacation packages. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right. When I hear it, I'm going to double tap to select it.
Search vacation packages, button. Back, button.
Now I'm taken to a new screen called Vacation Packages, in which I have 4 tabs. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right and let VoiceOver tell us what these tabs are.
Selected. Hotel flight. Tab. 1 of 4. Flight car. Tab. 2 of 4. Hotel car. Tab. 3 of 4. Flight hotel car. Tab. 4 of 4.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and swipe left till I hear hotel and car and double tap to select it.
Hotel car. Tab. 3 of 4. Selected. Hotel car. Tab. 3 of 4.
Now to save some time, I've already populated the information, and this follows the same principles as my previous demonstration. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right and let VoiceOver tell us what information has been populated.
Enter destination. Houston. Button. Select hotel dates. April 1st to April 6th. Button. Travelers. 1 room. 1 traveler. Button. Search. Button.
I'm going to double tap on search.
Search. Close. Button.
And also keep in mind, when you hit the search button, it may take a few seconds for the information to populate. Now I'm taken to the next screen, which is Choose to Stay. Travelocity provides a list of hotels that it recommends. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till I hear the first hotel heading.
Stay at Suites Houston NASA Clear Lake. Heading level 3.
Now as I continue to swipe right, I'm going to get pictures of the hotel as well as its rating and the cost per night. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till I hear Booking Together link.
Get 1 hotel night for free by booking together. Link.
Double tap to select it.
Reserve. Button.
Now I'm taken to a new screen where it provides detailed information about the surroundings of this hotel as well as the amenities that's included in the hotel. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till I hear Reserve button and then double tap to select it.
Reserve. Button. Reserve. Don't forget to add collision. Results are loading.
Now I'm taken to the next screen, which is Choose My Car. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right. It's going to provide some information about where I'm picking the car, as well as the rental start date and end date, as well as the filters. I'm going to keep everything as is just to save some time. And if I continue to swipe right, it's going to provide information such as how many passengers this car can hold, as well as if it provides unlimited mileage or if it's automatic. And if I continue to swipe right, it's going to tell me which company that I would rent this vehicle from. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till I hear Reserve Item Link and then double tap to select it.
Reserve item. Compact from Thrifty at $960 total. Link. Reserve item. Compact from Thrifty at $960 total.
Now I'm taken to a new screen and it provides some information about the hotel. As I continue to swipe right, one of the required information that I need to fill in is whether I want to get hotel insurance. And this is required, so it's a yes or no. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till I hear no and double tap to select it.
Yes, I want to protect my trip. No, I'm willing to risk my $950. Warn, your trip is not protected.
Now I'm presented the same kind of question for my vehicle whether I want to get collision insurance. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till I hear no and double tap to select it.
No, I am willing to take the risk. Radio button. Checked.
As I continue to swipe right, I'll eventually get to the payment information. But once again, I'm not going to process this order, so I'm not filling that information in. But if I did, then I would then continue to swipe right till I hear Complete Booking button and double tap to select it. The next part of my presentation, I'm going to talk about cruises. I've already went to the home screen and double tapped on Search Cruises. And I filled in, once again, all the information as it relates to what I want to search for. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right so you can listen to what VoiceOver says.
Caribbean. Button. Travelers in the cabin. 1 traveler. Button. Departs as early as April 29, 2022. Departs as late as April 30th, 2022. Button. Search. Button.
Double tap on search.
Search. Add your property. Link. Enter skip to main content. In page link.
I'm provided a number of cruises, but I'm going to go ahead and swipe right till I hear the first one.
Search result. 8-night Caribbean cruise aboard the Allure of the Seas. Departing from...
I wonder if Michael and Saudi would want to do a cafe on the cruise. We'll have to see. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right.
Allure of the Seas. Link. Image. More content available.
I'm going to go ahead and double tap to select the link.
Allure of the Seas. Link. Choose a cabin. Link.
Now I'm taken to a new page and I have 2 different ways that I could plan my trip. One, I'm provided a toll-free number for me to contact an Expedia travel agency to plan my cruise, or I can fill in an online form to have a cruise consultant call me back. As I continue to swipe right, I'm provided additional information about my cruise package. This includes more information about the ship, when it leaves, my daily activities, what's included and what's not included. So for me to have the best experience, I'm going to go ahead and consult with a cruise consultant by calling the toll-free number. And this is how I would plan a trip using the Travelocity app for a cruise. I'm going to show you what it looks like when I get a confirmation email from Travelocity. So I'm just going to go to the subject line so you can hear what it says.
Travelocity travel confirmation September 26th itinerary number sign 747.
Okay, and it provides an itinerary number. And that's very important because that is what you'll use when you need to reach out to them. I'm going to go ahead and swipe right and get to the body of the email. Let's listen to some of the verbiage that you'll get on a confirmation email.
Thanks. Your trip is booked and confirmed. Row 1, column 1, image. You have 24 hours from time of booking to column 2. Cancel this flight. Column 2, link.
Okay, those are the information that you would get on an email confirmation when you book a trip to Travelocity. Finally, I may not have as many questions as our Monday night buzz calls, but if I do, I can do a touch and explore on the home screen.
Open chat button. Get help from a virtual agent.
Double tap and talk to an agent if I have any issues that need to be addressed. This concludes my presentation on Travelocity. I talked about the home screen layout, how to set up an account, how to plan a trip, as well as the email confirmation. So I hope you have a safe and wonderful journey as you travel from A to B. All right, so we're going to go ahead and open it up to QA. Michael, would you keep a clock to let me know when we need to go to the next presenter?
Okay.
And we're going to go ahead and unmute everyone. And like I said before, the way it's going to work is you're going to unmute yourself. You're going to state your name. I'm going to call upon you. Then you can ask your question or make your comment. And at that time, I kindly ask everyone else to stay muted till the conversation comes to an end. So is there any questions about the app that I just covered?
This is Dan.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Have you ever tried the chat feature on that app?
This is Sree. I did try it. I did get one time, I got a response right away. The second time, it took me a while to get a response back.
Okay, and on the chat, do you just send a text or is it voice chat?
This is Sree. So it is a chat, so you can dictate or type your question on the chat.
Oh, okay.
And you can also call the toll-free number to have a conversation too.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Thomas Hutchinson, Grand Junction, Colorado.
Yeah, Thomas, go ahead.
Yeah, you were mentioning a feature called the sightseeing feature. Is that the same as things to do? Thomas is done speaking.
Yeah, so basically the things to do is you can type in a place that you want to go visit and it will give you ideas to go sightseeing. Did that answer your question, Thomas?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. All right. Any other questions?
This is Wilhelmina.
Yeah, Wilhelmina.
So would you be able to request needs assistance on the app when you're booking your flight?
You know, that's a very good question. I did not do that. I can probably just say when I contact the airline, I guess I could have mentioned that, but I did not check with Travelocity whether they do provide accommodations for accessibility. But that's a very good question.
This is Marian.
Yeah, Marian.
I use Travelocity a lot to book flights, and they do keep it in there if you're blind and need assistance, and then that
automatically goes to the airline, but it's always a good idea to make sure when you check in or confirm your flight that that's in there. But Travelocity does keep track of that, and it's transferred directly to the airline.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. This is Leah.
Yeah, Leah, go ahead.
Do you find Travelocity more user-friendly than Expedia?
So Expedia owns Travelocity. So there are really two big players in the market. I think Priceline owns the other half, and Expedia owns Travelocity. So I have not used Expedia before. At my house, we've always used Travelocity. But I'm going to assume they're probably pretty similar since it's owned by the same company.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
This is Ted.
This is
all right, Ted. Is it Ted or Ned?
Okay, sorry, I'm messing your name up. Sree. Not only am I blind, but I'm also in a wheelchair, and most folks in here know that. But for those that don't, yes, I am blind and in a wheelchair. And so my question with respect to these travel apps, and I did get in here late, so I didn't hear the whole presentation, so I apologize for that. Are there any accommodations that would take in account the wheelchair aspect of traveling? Because I know that not only I, but I know others are also in wheelchairs that come to these meetings.
So Ted, I'm going to have to apologize because I really didn't inquire about that aspect, but I'll be more than happy to check, and I can follow up with you on that. That's a good question too, and I have to apologize. I didn't inquire about that. And if someone listening to this knows the answer, please chime in.
And just to give a little context, with Metrolift, Houston's paratransit, they label those of us who are blind and wheelchair or walker users and such as BWC. So I don't know if there are acronyms that are used in the travel, whether Travelocity or the commercial airlines or whatever. But I have heard BWC referenced in Metrolift context. So maybe that's used there too.
Okay. Ted, I have to apologize. I wasn't able to clearly hear everything. I don't know if you were asking a question or making a comment.
Making a comment.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have to keep going.
Someone else had a question?
Well, we're going to have to actually move on, Sree, and hold any other questions to the end. We'll have more time at the very end for questions.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and introduce my next presenter. He's probably needs no introduction because he's part of iBUG family for a long time. He's also known as our tour master, as well as he does a great job in doing our Mac class, our Mac Buzz on Clubhouse. So I'd like to warmly welcome Herbie. Herbie, why don't you lead us into your presentation?
All right, well, thank you, Sree. And, I actually did think of a question. When you were renting a car, how come you didn't get to collision insurance protection? I mean, blind guy driving a car. But, hey, guys, if you'd rather not rent cars or anything like that when you go on trips, or whether you're just traveling around their house and you don't want to deal with the paratransit, there's a great alternative, Uber, U-B-E-R. It is actually one of two transportation apps that take the place of taxis. The other one is Lyft, L-Y-F-T, which I am not as familiar with, but I am definitely very familiar with Uber. And I'm going to show you how to use it. And just a quick reminder, there are various Uber apps in the App Store, such as Uber Eats and whatnot, but you just want to, for transportation, you want plain Uber, U-B-E-R. And let's take it away. Let's start by opening the app. Open Uber.
Uber button.
The first thing you're going to hear with this latest update is button. This, unfortunately, is an unlabeled button, and what it actually is the menu and notifications button. We're going to come back to this a little bit later. Let's take a look at some of our options here on the screen. I'm just going to let you hear them, and then I'm going to give some explanations.
Discover local adventures. Find local places and activities with Uber Explore. Open Explore button. Ride button. Food button. Reserve button. Vaccine button. Rent button. Hourly button. Grocery button. Package button. Where to button. Schedule a ride in advance button. CVS Pharmacy, 7102 Beechnut Street, Houston, Texas button.
What you're hearing right now are a number of options for services that Uber provides. In addition to booking rides, they have options for food, groceries, vaccine appointments, you name it. I am most familiar with the ride sharing and Uber Eats. I've never tried using the food option through this app. I just use the Uber Eats app if I want to go that route. The only thing we're going to really cover today is what I think is the most important aspect of Uber, which is the actual rides. But you can take a look at this other stuff on your own once you get an understanding of how the app works. Now, what you heard also with that address was the last place that I'd actually gone to with Uber. And that can really come in handy if you want to really quickly look up a recent place again. But there are other ways to do that as well, and we're going to talk about that. Now let's take a look at our bottom, because we do have some tabs there.
Selected. Home. Tab 1 of 3 button.
So this is the Home tab that we are on.
Explore. Tab 2 of 3 button.
An Explore tab.
Activity. Tab 3 of 3 button.
An Activity tab. So the Explore tab seems to do the same thing as that Explore button that you heard it mentioned earlier at the top. Activities, what it does is it shows you your ride history. So you can see where you've gone, and I think it covers everything that you've done with Uber, at least in regards to rides. And that can really come in handy, because I remember one time I needed to look up an address that I'd last gone to 6 months ago. And so having that activity really came in handy. I remembered roughly when I'd gone, and there you go. We'll talk more about the Activity tab in a little bit. Right now, I want to show you all how to book a ride. First of all, the Explore button, it's kind of interesting. It's supposed to give you an idea of what is around you, but I don't know if I'd find it all that helpful myself if I needed to use something like that.
Just ride.
Another thing you heard on Uber is ride and where do you want to go button or something to that effect. They both are the same thing, but there is also a reserve option. And what that is that lets you book a trip in advance. That is, again, a feature I have never needed to use with Uber, just because I can normally get a ride within the space of 5 to 10 minutes. So once I know that I'm going to be going somewhere, it's just a simple matter of booking a ride. Also, reserved rides have more fixed prices, so you may not actually be saving anything by doing things that way. That's something else to keep in mind.
Destination. Search field. Is editing. Where I do? Insertion point at start.
The first thing it does when you double tap the ride button is takes you right to the destination field. This is maybe not the greatest thing, because I know, because I'm at home, that it's going to have the correct pickup, but when I'm out and about, I want to make sure it actually sees the correct place. Now, it will give you a confirmation screen. That's the good news. If you forget to go backwards and look, you will have a confirmation screen for your pickup address, but I usually like to double check it from here. So let's swipe to the left.
Pickup location. Home button.
And
actions available.
One of the things you can do, which I will show you in a little bit, is how to set favorite addresses, including home and work. And so naturally, I have my home in here so I can easily find it without having to type in the address. Really comes in handy.
Current writer, Herbie, button.
When swiping to the left, we got one other field that says current writer, Herbie. What you can do here is you can add additional riders that are tied to your account, but you are responsible for payment, ratings, all that type of thing. And how it works is you double tap this button.
Add a rider. Me.
So on this screen, you see me, and I'm the only rider, but if I wanted to add somebody else, I would go to the Add Rider button. If you've already added to somebody else, they're going to show up on the screen.
Add a rider. Close button. Choose a new writer button. Search name or number. Search field. Aaron Preston.
So what it does here is it actually ties to your contacts when you want to use this feature. So you just have to tell it to allow and you're good to go. And I believe we can book a new rider
button.
Without them being in your contacts in terms
button.
of...
New changes only apply to Uber and does not affect your device's address book. First name text field, text, last name text field.
So you can add a rider in here that would not actually add to your contacts. I guess that's useful if you want to keep Uber people separate.
New close button. Close button.
I think personally I would probably just want to add them to the address book anyway, but that's just me.
Close button.
All right.
Saved places button.
Now I need to show you something here if you go fiddling around with these screens.
See great clips. Saved places button. Saved places.
Notice I'm getting a bonk.
Saved places.
It kind of messes things up with finding the search field again if you go out of the screen once you've got it opened. So that's something you need to know. And my only work around it that I have found is to close out the app and open it again. Now, if you're going to go to a customized place, that's not a big deal. So why don't we go to a saved place first?
CVS Pharmacy. Saved places. Great clips. 4,960 Beechnut Street.
And we will go to Great Clips.
Back button. ETA. 8. Destination. Great clips. Double tap to add a destination.
Notice it said double tap to add a destination. I'm going to come back to that.
ETA. 8 minutes.
With the multiple destinations.
Double tap to edit pickup location.
So I can see now that I've got an ETA of 8 minutes for an expected driver with it seeing home as my pickup address.
It's busy. Fares are higher than usual.
Oh, thanks for the warning. It's busy. Fares are higher than usual.
Selected. UberX. Fare $14.22. Discounted from $14.97. Estimated drop-off. 15:58. Capacity. 3 people. Button.
It was not kidding when it was saying fares are higher than usual.
Comfort. Fare $18.18. Discounted from $19.13. Estimated drop-off. 15:58. Capacity. 3 people. Button.
So Comfort for $4 more. Not bad, not bad.
Uber XL. Fare $24.50. Discounted from $25.78. Estimated drop-off. 15:59. Capacity. 5 people. Button.
Normally, I would just use economy because that's the cheapest. But one time, I did use Uber XL when we were coming back from the airport and we had luggage. And so I felt it made a bit more sense to use a larger vehicle that time.
Economy.
So now we've got another heading, economy.
UberX. Fare $14.22. Comfort. Uber XL. Uber Pet. Fare $18.04. Discounted. Connect. Fare $15.92.
I think
discounted from 2 times PDF.
I think Connect is like a ride share service.
Premium.
And then you got your premium services.
Black. Fare $27.95.
Uber Black.
Black SUV. Fare $38.46. Payment method. Apple Pay. Button.
All right, and payment method. So if you were to go in here, you can add or make adjustments to your payment methods if you've added multiple ones. And basically, if we double tap
payment
this.
Method. Club payment selected. Personal profile. Button.
And you can have a personal profile.
Business profile. Button.
Or a business profile.
Uber Cash. Heading. Uber Cash. $0. On. Button.
So if somebody gives you money through Uber, then that would go to your Uber Cash.
Payment method. Heading. PayPal. CHM.al.
There, I can select PayPal if I want, because I've added that in.
Visa card ending with 3. PayPal. Visa card ending with 2.
You can actually add in multiple PayPal accounts.
Visa card.
Multiple
add payment
cards.
Method. Button.
And there's an add payment method button.
Pay close. Button.
So I'm going to go to the close button.
Back. Uber XL. Connect premium. Black payment. Confirm Uber X. Button.
And one other thing I wanted to mention real quick too is notice it's giving me the time in military time. I have my phone set to that time format. So if your clock is set to the standard AM PM, it may display the time that way, but I am not completely sure.
Confirm Uber X button.
So if I could hit this confirm button, I want to show you something.
Confirm pickup location screen. Back button.
So this is what I meant by the confirm pickup location screen. So when you hit that first confirm button, that is not going to send the booking information just yet. In fact, you've got 2 screens you're going to have to work through. So this first screen is your confirm pickup location.
Back button. Confirm your pickup spot. Heading.
And it's going to confirm my pickup spot. So if I need to make changes,
Confirm pickup button.
I can do that. And then I've got confirm pickup.
Confirm back.
Now,
button.
the other thing that it's going to do after I hit that, it's going to give me a new window saying all riders must be wearing masks, blah, blah, blah. There is a checkbox you will have to check. So you'll need to double tap that first. So look for the checkbox that says I confirm I'm wearing a mask. Then swipe right to the button for confirming the ride, and it's going to do that. What'll happen once you confirm your ride is you're going to get a notification. First of all, if you have it using Apple Pay, you're going to need to confirm with the side button or Touch ID, depending on your phone model. After that, you're going to get a lot of little notifications that can be a little bit annoying, but they are very useful. The most important one is telling you your ride information. So it'll say, Sree has confirmed your ride and is driving a green Toyota, license plate number, iBUG today. And actually, I don't think it gives the full license plate number. I think it just gives part of it, or maybe it does give the full one. It's something I don't pay full attention to because I kind of can't read the license plate number. And then it'll tell you when to expect it, and you do have an updating tracker all the time that'll tell you how many minutes away the ride is, and you'll get a notification when the driver is about a minute away, and it can be a little bit out of sync with when the driver has arrived as to when they actually have or not, and that can depend on some factors like, I think, for instance, like when they pull into a parking lot, that doesn't mean they've actually arrived, but they're there, or in an apartment complex, for instance. They're in the complex, but they're not necessarily near your building. So that can be a little bit tricky, but at least you know when to go out there and be on the lookout for them. They have your name, so they should be saying, Herbie or Kelly or whatever your name is that you have the ride booked under. That's how you can identify the driver. And if you have somebody helping you, you can tell them, again, what car to be on the lookout for. All right, so
back button.
Let us go back.
Saved places button. Saved place. CVS
so,
Pharmacy.
Remember I was talking earlier about getting caught in this screen. So the only way around it is to close out Uber.
App switcher. Uber. Closing Uber. App switcher.
And I want to show you what to do
Apple
now if you have a manual destination that you want to go to. Open Uber. So we're reopening
button.
Uber.
Ride button.
And we're going to go to our
destination.
ride button.
Search field.
So
is editing.
again, I'm
Where
already
to?
on the destination
Insertion point
button.
braille screen input.
Well, let's go to the place where the iBUG Cafe used to be in person.
1,422 space 1,422.6 dot will dot cap space
Brain
capital
fart
W
here.
dot cap A Y portrait gray.
Here's something important. I am not going to press the search button because that's going to throw things off with this map pen thing yeah. What we're going to do is we're just going to touch the left side of the phone.
1,422 West Grayson Street, San Antonio, TX, USA, button.
Oh, wow. We could go to West Grayson Street in San Antonio. This thing, if you're not specific, will give you addresses for anywhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to swipe to the left, and it's going to start with the closest to you.
Cafe Express, 1,422 W.
And so now I just double tap that.
Selected. Back, button. You're saving 5% with ETA. 5 minutes. Pickup. Home.
Okay, now my ETA is 5 minutes if I wanted to go to Cafe Express. And that's another thing that can really come in handy is you can type in the business name, which I always prefer to do anyway because it helps the driver, and it'll pull it up that way. So you can type in the address, you can type in the business name, and most of the time it will match. I say most of the time. Sometimes medical complexes can be a little bit interesting in my experience. You just have to go with the flow. That's how that works. So remember, you do your search, but do not hit the search button. Just kind of touch the left side of your screen a little bit above like where the keyboard is, and you are good to go. Let's take a brief look at our
button.
activity tab. So
Button. Empty list. Activity. Tab.
I went to the
Button.
bottom of the screen and I double tapped activity.
Activity. Upcoming.
I've got upcoming so I can see my upcoming trips if I've reserved anything.
You have no upcoming trips. Reserve your ride. Greater than. Button.
And if you ever lose focus on your trips, by the way, let's say you close out the app and you come back in here and it's not popping it up, this is where you would go to try to bring up the trip you have currently active.
Past.
And now I can see my past trips, where I was picked up from, where I went to, all that good stuff. Now, one other thing I forgot to show you is multiple destinations. So let's say that you have errands to run and you don't want to be bothered with waiting for an Uber every time. Well, you can do multiple destinations, but there are some things that you need to understand on how it works.
Ukrainians need our help. Support those forced to flee their homes. Button. Ride. Button. Destination.
Now, one other thing I do need to mention, and this is super important, when you are on a ride, you've got some other important options. One is share live location with driver. That's a good one to have on because the driver should get a more accurate idea of where your location is. And the other thing that I'm going to talk about how to set up is you can actually share your ride status with trusted people. So for instance, I can share mine with Chanel and she can see exactly where I'm at all times during the ride status. And this leads me to my final point on that subject. You're going to get a notification from Sree and your phone saying Uber has been using your location in the background. Allow while using app, allow always. I actually recommend for this particular app always, because what if you have to get out of the app to do something else? You don't want it to lose that live location. And it's also helpful to have it updating your location so that way when you open the app, the faster it can work. So this is one app that I do actually have it always tracking my location because of the nature of the app. So there you go. So now let's talk about multiple destinations. So I'm actually back on my destination field here, and I'm going to swipe to the right.
Button. Cap queue.
And
button.
For some reason, this button is unlabeled. It should be saying button add, but it is not.
Location search screen. Back. Button. Current. Done. Dimmed. Button. Close. Pickup location. Stop 1. Button.
Okay, stop 1. What do I want to do here, folks? I think I need to run an errand.
Location. Search field. Headings.
So I'm going to...
Cap W. CVS Pharmacy. 9125 Hillcrofts.
We're going to go to this particular CVS Pharmacy.
Heading not found.
That is for my saved places.
Current writer. Herbie. Done. Button. Pickup location. Stop 1. CVS Pharmacy. Button. Destination. Button.
And destination. Okay, so this is where I wish it could be labeled better. I wish it would say stop 2. All it says is destination. So I'm going to...
Location. Search field. Is editing.
Double tap
insertion
on
point
this.
at start. Braille screen input.
And
orientation locked.
where do
Portrait.
I want to go?
Cappy. Great clips. 4,960.
Need the haircut.
Location search screen. Back. Button.
Okay, so here's
Current
what I want to
done.
show you.
Button. Pickup location. Stop 1. CVS Pharmacy. Button. Stop 2. Great clips. Button. Destination. Button.
And I'll add a final stop.
Location. Search CVS Pharmacy.
Because after all this...
Back. Location. Cappy. Locate. Back. C. 14,000. Great. C. US Post Office. Cap J.
I can't seem to find what I want in my recent places, so let's type it in this way.
Homewood Suites by Hill. Home 2 Suite. Home. 8,600.
And
location
there you
search
go. I had to type in what I wanted there, but that's fine. So now look at this.
Done. Button. Pickup. Stop 1. CVS Pharmacy. Button. Stop 2. Great clips. Button. Stop 3. Home. Button.
So now I've got 3
Actions
stops.
Available. Destination. But now you can add home. Destination. Back. Done. Button.
And I'm going to swipe all the way to go to the top of the screen and swipe right to done. But here's where I definitely got mixed up when I was helping somebody with this.
Destination. Home. Double tap to add a destination.
Notice it's saying destination home. What really threw me off here.
5 minutes. You're saving 5% with Uber One. Selected. Uber X. Fare $17.01.
Basically, here's what's happening. It's showing your final destination when showing the destination. I personally wish it would show your first destination, but it's showing the last one. It's going to take you to your first destination, but I personally think it could be a little bit more clear, and then showing you the ride amount for your first trip or my first trip or whatever. Multiple destinations, I used it once for a really short errand. Actually works pretty well. I think you do have to pay the driver for waiting though, so only use the multiple destinations when it's a really short errand you've got to run, like just picking up something.
Back button.
All right.
Location search screen. Back.
So
back
we're
button.
going to hit the back button
Button.
and get out of all that because I really don't need to go anywhere at the moment. And the last thing I'm going to show you is
Button.
our unlabeled button, which is menu and notifications.
Double tap to button. Herbie Allen.
So I can see my name here.
Button. Person. Average rating from drivers. 4.94 out of 5. Button.
That is just a button. It doesn't tell you like who driver rated you.
Close. Wallet. Button.
Wallet. So this is also where you can adjust payment information.
Trips. Button.
Now I've got trips, so I can take a look at my trip history.
Uber rewards. 1,524 PDS. Button.
I can see how many Uber rewards points I have.
Safety checkup. Boost your safety profile by turning on additional features. Button.
So you can turn on some additional safety features, including having a PIN number that your driver has to have from you before the ride can proceed.
Messages. Button.
Messages, you can take a look at your message history and if you've messaged with other drivers.
Uber One. Button. Send a gift. Button. Settings. Button.
And settings.
Drive or deliver with Uber. Button.
And we're not going to talk about driver delivering with
Settings.
Uber.
Button.
But
Close.
let
Button.
us take a look at our settings real quick.
Setting. Herbie Allen. Favorites. Heading. Add work. Button.
I can add a work.
More saved places. Button.
And more saved places. So I highly recommend that if you know where you're going to go to a lot, you add to your saved places because that'll make finding stuff a whole lot easier. Because you just have to swipe through the saved places and find them. But it's very easy
More
to
saved
add
places.
to that. We double tap.
Favorites. Heading. Add saved place. Add saved place. Button.
And
Location.
I can add a
Search
saved
field.
place,
Is editing.
and it
Enter
works the same way as
8,600.
finding a
8,600.
location.
KFC. Medical Plaza 2. 8,300. Back. Button. 8. KFC.
And what's also cool is
Back,
it remembers places you've previously gone to that you can add to a safe place that way by just double tapping. So there you go.
Save favorite. Home. Add work. Button. Other. Cap. Add saved place.
And that's pretty much it for settings. One thing I do want to mention though, regards to the settings, in the safety options that I was going past earlier, that is where you can set up trusted contacts if you want to share your ride status with somebody. So if you have a spouse or a family member, whatever, that is where you go and it'll show who you have and you can add from there, and it just uses your contacts the same way the add rider method does that I was showing you all earlier. One final note that I will quickly say is that this app does make changes. In fact, when I was first doing this demo, I had a menu/notifications button, and an app update must have occurred because later on it suddenly went to the unlabeled button. So you just got to be flexible with this app and go with the flow because they do often make, usually they're little changes, but they can occur. So hopefully this was a good overview for you.
All right, Herbie, thank you very much for that presentation. So once again, we're going to open it up for Q&A. So follows the same rules as before. So announce your name, I'll call upon you. And if you have a question for Herbie, ask away.
Ted.
I'm sorry, who's this?
Ted, are you able to?
All right, Ted, what's your question?
Yes. I think Sree, you and I have discussed this when we had our nice conversation the other day. Herbie, thank you for your presentation. I think Sandhya might have used this particular feature when she went to New York not too long ago. And Joanne and I have been really wanting to try it out, especially going to a fundraiser that we thought we were going to go to in the very near future. Evidently, there is a code, and I did some research on this myself in the last few weeks. There's a code that you can put into the promos area, WAV, and I can't remember what the rest of it is, but suffice it to say, WAV stands for Wheelchair Accessible Vehicle. however, and the promo actually accepted that code, and I'll get the full code for anyone that needs it. I just can't remember exactly what the entire thing is, but when I wanted to attempt at using Uber, provided that code, maybe it was to go to the rodeo or maybe it was to go somewhere else a little bit more local to our nursing home, I cannot transfer. So I need to have a vehicle where I can simply sit in the vehicle, in the wheelchair in the vehicle. So I guess what I'm asking, are there vehicles local to Houston that can accommodate somebody such as myself who can't transfer, or maybe somebody like Sandhya who occasionally will use a power wheelchair? And again, you can't fold a power wheelchair. So
This is Sandhya.
Yep, Sandhya.
Okay, so yeah, and it's really hard to hear you. So anyway, yeah, you're right. I did use it in New York, and I just was looking at the options right now. You know, it says X and XL, and there is the more and WAV. So it says capacity for, people, and it just says 0, doesn't give you a price. So I have not tried it here, but it worked beautifully in New York. So hope that helps. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Sandhya. Thank
All
you
right.
for sharing.
Okay.
Any other
You can
questions
hear me
for
a little
Herbie?
better now. I've adjusted some of my
This
volume.
is Marian.
Okay, Marian.
2 quick questions, Herbie. Is there a setting in your account that you're blind so the driver will watch out for you and your white cane? And 2, I have a guide dog, and I heard one of the fee structures was for Travelocity with pet. And do they charge you extra if you bring your guide dog in the car?
All right, good question. So I really want to focus more on the app and not so much the service. So I'm not going to go into too many details here. But first of all, no, there is no blind option. If you really feel like you need to let the driver know that you are blind, you can do that in find the way to message the driver once the ride has been accepted. That is something I have never done unless the driver has actually had issues finding me, because I generally know where they're going to pull up and I'm watching the app for when they're supposed to arrive. And when the app is saying that the driver is about to arrive and I hear a car pull up, it's, I can usually tell by that alone that it's most likely the Uber, and I'll kind of go up to the car and wait for them to say my name or ask them who they're looking for. As for guide dogs, that I recommend, if you really, there's a group on Facebook called Blind Users of Uber and Lyft. But guide dogs are not pets, so they are service animals. So you would just use you do not need to use the Uber pet specifically for that. As a non-guide dog user, I have to admit, I'd be more inclined to, just because of the fact that there have been so many service denials of guide dog users, that I'd honestly rather play it safe than sorry myself. But I understand the standpoint of why you wouldn't want to do that. So, but that's getting into more of the service, not the app. But there's no way in the app to indicate that you have a service animal or you're blind. Like I said, you need to message the driver. One iOS tidbit I'll give you, though, you could always do, if that's something that you think you're going to do, is you could always create a keyboard shortcut in the keyboard settings, and that way every time you could just type in a letter combination that says I am blind to look out for blah 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 with white cane, if you don't want to type all that out. So that's something I would suggest if you want to go that route.
Thank you.
Great.
So we're going
Who's
to
next?
move on to the next.
Okay. All right, so our final presentation is going to be Marian Gruber. If you've not heard of her, she is one of our mentor program where she'll do a one-on-one if you sign up for that. Marian, would you like to do any kind of introduction before you start your presentation?
I really do. Thank you, Sree. Just very briefly to make sure people understand that the app I'm going to be talking about is for walking, but it does not give you street by street directions like Google Maps walking directions or Blind Square that tells you 900 feet, turn right on 3rd, in a quarter mile, turn left on Apple. So you can use this app as a layer in addition to a navigation app like Blind Square or Apple Maps, but by itself, it won't give you the street by street directions.
Hi, this is Marian. I'm going to talk to you today about an app I discovered 2 years ago called Soundscape, spelled Soundscape. It's developed by Microsoft. It's on the App Store for Apple. It's free, and it's now available for Android. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what it is, why you might want to try it out, and we'll have a little voiceover tour of the app itself and go for a field trip. So, what is Soundscape? It is very different from most apps that you will have heard about or tried. So conceptually, I'm going to try and explain it. It is an app that they call gives blind people 3D mapping of their world. And it does this by using stereo headphones to let you know where things are in the world spatially by giving you sound in each of the two headphones, depending on where the item is that it's talking about. So if the store is on your right, you'll hear about it in your right ear. If the street is on your left, you'll hear about it in your left ear. Anything straight ahead, both ears. And it is pretty cool for giving you an idea of how things are in the world around you. It is different from the navigation apps that you're used to, like Apple Maps, Google Maps, Blind Square, which give you step-by-step, street-by-street directions on how to get from point A to point B. Soundscape will not do that. So you can use Soundscape as a layer along with one of those navigational apps to give you added information about what's around you when you are going from point A to point B. Or if you know the area already, that you don't need the navigation directions, you can just use Soundscape. And I do that in my neighborhood so that I don't get lost, which actually does happen fairly frequently these days because I've lost a little more vision. So the big visual cues that would give me a sense of where I was, I can't see anymore, and it's a suburb with big streets, no sidewalks, and very curvy corners, so I can really get myself in a pickle. And unfortunately, my guide dog doesn't tell me what direction I'm facing, and so she also hates it when I make her go in directions we're not supposed to go in because she knows that. And that's kind of how I figure out that I'm lost. But anyway, Soundscape, that's a little bit of why you might want to use it. How does it work? It will give you information as you walk along about what is on your right, what's on your left, what's straight ahead. It will tell you when you're approaching an intersection and what streets go off in what direction from that intersection. And it will give you that information again in your left ear, your right ears, both ears based on what it's talking about. You can also use the two main tools in Soundscape called beacons and markers to help you get someplace rather than just telling you what's around you. A beacon is something that you place on your destination. And that can be your end destination. It can be a marker. And the beacon is, like it says, a beacon that is sending out a signal, only it's doing it digitally, but it's like a lighthouse. That's how I read about it. That made sense to me. A lighthouse will flash a light at ships out at sea, and the ships can tell where they are as the crow flies, looking straight at the lighthouse. But that also gives them an idea of where to go And the beacon will give you a pinging sound in your ear. And with the stereo headset, it will ping in the direction of where that destination is, off to your right, off to the side, even just at an angle between front and left and all of that. So anyway, it only tells you the direction as the crow flies. So again, if you don't know your streets and how to get there, you'll want to use this in addition with a navigation app. Markers you can place anywhere, and they will, just like they say, mark a spot. So some apps call it dropping breadcrumbs, I think, or something like that. And you might want to do that at the front door of an office building, if you have to walk across a parking lot, or inside a building, or your home, or just places along the way so that you know when you've reached a certain point. Those are the two main tools. It's a simple app. It was developed by blind programmers and other programmers at Microsoft for the blind, so it is very easy to use, completely voiceover friendly, yay. And so let's get a little tour of the app itself.
Soundscape. Menu. Button.
Okay, you're going to start out on the menu button in the upper left-hand corner. I'll go through the menu after we take a tour of the home screen. So if I swipe to the right,
Sleep. Button.
get to sleep. If you want the app running in the background but don't want to listen to it yapping at you, you can sleep it, of course.
Search for a place or address. Search field.
That's the main search bar where you put in either a destination or someplace partway you want to drop a marker. You can do all this ahead of time. Helpful.
Places nearby. Button.
And that will just tell you places like ATM machines, grocery stores, food and drink, recreation, bus stops, that kind of thing.
Markers routes. Button.
And I will go back and say that the information in here is not the same as what's in Google Maps. It's open source, so there will be gaps in what it tells you as far as businesses go. But streets, of course, it's very good. Okay, the next one is maps and route, or markers and routes, and those are ones that you have previously added, so you can go down the list and select one.
Current location. Button.
Current location.
Actions available.
Okay, let's go in there.
Location. Back button. Location details. Heading.
Okay.
Start audio beacon. Button.
Okay, you can place a beacon here if you have put a destination in the search box and it's showing that, then you can place a beacon there, and then that will give you your signal from your end destination when you start.
Save as marker. Button.
You can save a location ahead of time as a marker, like I said.
Soundscape street preview. Button.
And that is something incredibly cool that we will explore in a few minutes. It is a way to explore areas from the comfort of your armchair in a virtual reality kind of way. They just added that recently.
Share. Button.
You can share your location with somebody, which can be very helpful.
Open an external maps app. Button.
And you can open Google Maps, Apple Maps, and it will drop your current location in there as well.
Back button. Back button. Current location. Button. Start route. Emory Valley Bike Path. Button.
Okay, this will list routes that you have added. For me, that's a walking route that I like, and I've dropped some markers so I know when I'm getting to certain points or streets or whatever. So you can use a current route or start a new route.
Hear my surroundings. Heading.
Okay, that one confused me for a few minutes. I don't know why they put that in there, because it's just a heading and it is basically a title over the 4 buttons at the bottom, which I think of as tabs. Let's see what
My location. Button.
My location will give you basically, the address of where you're at.
Around me. button.
Okay, that'll tell you streets and businesses, parks, bus stops. When I was exploring Seattle in Street Preview, it even told me about recycling bins. So it'll tell you what's around you.
Ahead of me, button.
Ahead of me will tell you, of course, same information, but what's directly in front of you, which, as I said, when I get disoriented is helpful for me.
Nearby markers, button.
And your nearby markers that you have placed. That's the 4 buttons at the bottom that are very helpful while you're out and about, but can also be used in Street Preview. Okay, let's see what the menu is real quick.
Button. Close menu, button.
All very easy to use. Once you get the concept, it's fairly intuitive, but conceptually, this idea of directional information is different because we're used to that Google Maps street by street directions, and so you have to think of it in a spatial sense. Okay, but the menu real quick.
Recreational activities, button.
That's pretty cool. That's a beta on here that I discovered that nonprofits or adaptive sports or event organizers can use to set up a soundscape environment for a specific event or place or something like that that they can then share with people who are participating. Pretty cool.
Head tracking headphones, button.
Okay, head tracking headphones are those ones I mentioned that will use your headphones to point you in the direction of where you're facing. Otherwise, you have to hold the phone in front of you, and the phone then gives the app the information about what direction you're facing. So the 4 that are compatible and you can then put your phone away in your pocket or your purse are the AirPods Pro, AirPods Max, the Sony Lynx Buds, and the Bose frames that have speakers in them. So that's the head tracking headphones.
Settings, button.
Settings, let's go in there real quick, just so you get an
Back
idea
button.
of what the app will do.
Settings, heading, general settings, heading. Language region, button.
Okay, you can have different
Voice,
languages because they have it in different countries now, different voices. They've allowed you to use Apple voices now.
Audio beacon, button.
That's the audio beacon.
In choosing a
You
beacon
can go
style,
in.
select a style that is comfortable to listen to and is easily heard outdoors and in noisy surroundings. Make sure you can easily determine its direction through your preferred listening device, headphones or phone speaker.
Okay, so these are just different styles of pinging, and some are more annoying than others, but perhaps easier to hear if you're in a noisy environment, which I'm not in my neighborhood, so I've picked one that's not as annoying.
Audio recording in progress. Back button. Back button. Audio beacon, button. Volume, button.
Volume allows you to set the volume on the voice, the beacon, and the sound effects. When we get into Street Preview, I'm not going to be able to probably talk because the sound effects in Street Preview are so loud that it required another recording of this demo when I went back to listen to it, because the speakers on the phone are right next to the mic, and so they were very loud. Okay.
Head tracking headphones, button.
Unfortunately, when I tried to reduce the volume on those, it didn't work. Okay, that's to add a head tracking headphones.
Media controls, heading.
Media controls, if you want to use your up-down volume pause on your lock screen, you can do that, but then you won't be able to use it at the same time with podcasts or music.
Enable media controls. Use this to enable control of Soundscape with the buttons on your headphones and the media playback buttons on the lock screen. Note that when turned on, Soundscape can't be used while other media such as podcasts or music is playing.
Ah, that's what I just said. Okay.
Allow callouts. Manage callouts, heading.
Okay. The callouts are when you have a beacon set, it will tell you every 50 feet that you have gotten that much closer to the beacon, which can be really annoying. So you can turn that off. Also, it will call out the stores and the streets, and I like that, so I leave that on. Okay.
Use the media controls. Heading.
In settings, let's see. There's
head tracking headphone. Media controls.
There's
heading.
In the settings, there's also troubleshooting, help, guides, and that kind of thing. Okay.
Row 7 to unnamed troubleshooting. About. Heading.
Troubleshooting, about, tells you what version you're
About
using.
Microsoft Soundscape.
And
button.
new updates, what they do, additions.
Help Microsoft Sounds telemetry.
Okay.
Unnamed Soundscape street preview. Heading. Distance to the mobility, places and landmarks. Nearby places like shops and restaurants. Allow callouts. Turn all callout places and landmarks. Nearby places like shops and restaurants. Switch button. Back button.
I'm not going to spend too much time going through settings.
Current location.
It's pretty straightforward. Okay.
Actions
Instead,
available.
I think it's good to demo how this works in real life when you're out and about. But first, I'm going to show you the street preview, and then we'll go out for a little walk.
Search for a place or address. Search field. Search field. Search field. Is editing. Search for a place or address. Word mode. Insertion point at start.
Okay. It will come up with your previous searches. So
search results. 4,501 University Way NE. 2,097.92 miles northwest. 4,501 University Way NE. Seattle. WA 98,105.
Okay, it's
actions
only
available.
2,900 miles, so I think we've got time for that. Actually, the idea of the street preview is that you can go anywhere that Soundscape is has maps and explore it from, as I am doing, the comfort of your own armchair. And this I picked because it's the University District in Seattle, where I went to University of Washington, and it is very easy to navigate because it's got sidewalks and the businesses come right out to the sidewalk, unlike where I live here, where there's strip malls and things like that that are just icky. So let's go.
Back button. 4,501 University Way NE. 2,097.92 miles northwest. 4,501 University Way NE.
Okay.
Seattle. WA 98,105. Start audio beacon. Button.
Okay, I can start an audio beacon, but since we're not going there literally today, I will not do that.
Soundscape street. Save as marker.
I
Button.
can save it as a marker. Again, if you want to place markers ahead of time on a route that you're going to be doing.
Share. Button.
You can share it.
Share. Soundscape street preview. Button.
Soundscape street preview. Here we go.
Progress. 100.
This is actually pretty cool.
Starting street preview at Crosswalk and Northeast 45th Street. 4,501 University Way Northeast. 60 feet.
We are transported.
Explore nearby. Button. Exit. Button.
Transported to the University District in Seattle immediately. So I put in an address, which means I'm not right at the intersection. It will tell you where you are. It will tell you what direction you're facing. You can still use the 4 buttons at the bottom. My location, around me, ahead of me, and nearby markers. And it will give you some nifty sound effects. But the problem is, as I discovered previously, that they're very loud. And so I am going to not try and talk very much during this little demo. I'm going to just go ahead and explore a couple of intersections. It has a go button at the top that you double tap, and that will take you to the next intersection that it has just announced. And the way you explore around you is you stand up. So yes, I'm having to stand up and hold the phone in front of you. And as you turn around in a circle, it's going to
Northeast 45th Street, heading west. Next intersection, Northeast 45th Street and Brooklyn Avenue Northeast. 255 feet.
Okay, so it's going to tell you where things are, but I'm in the middle of a block, so it's only giving me that annoying loud sound when I'm facing a direction I can actually walk. So I'm going to come back to my first address and I'm going to hit the go button.
East on Northeast. At East. Go. Button. Go. Approaching intersection. University Way Northeast. Goes left. Northeast 45th Street. Continues ahead. University Way Northeast. Goes right. Northeast 45th Street. Heading east.
Okay, I'm turning to the right so I can go down University Way. The Ave, if you went to University of Washington. Hitting go.
Go. Button. Go. Turn right. Now along University Way Northeast. Approaching intersection. Northeast 43rd Street. Goes left. University Way Northeast. Continues ahead. Northeast 43rd Street. Goes right. University Way Northeast. Heading south. Around me. Button. Around me. Sweet Alchemy Ice Creamery. 60 feet. Crossroads Trading. 80 feet. University Post Office. 55 feet. Flowers close by. Exit. Button. Exit. Dim. Cleaning things up. Ellipsis. Current location. Button. Actions available.
Okay, that's a short demo of the street preview. And you can find out just from trying different addresses what's available. Soundscape is available in the United States and Canada. I am not sure where else right now, but that could be really, really fun and really useful when you're going somewhere new. You can explore it from home. Before you get there, you can drop markers. You can drop a beacon to your end location. And, getting off a bus, you can set a marker at the end of, or where at the bus stop where you're getting off so that you can hear how close you're getting to the bus stop. Lots of uses that I haven't thought of that I would love to be creative and hear your ideas on how to use this kind of an app. I'm going to stop now and go outside so I can give you a little street demo.
Ahead of me. Button. Pause. Button.
Okay, I'm a verbal rambler, so I'm going to try and make this really quick, but it's important that you hear how this works out when you're walking. So I've set up a little route outside my house. It's very cold, so that will help speed things up. And I'm going back to the Soundscape home screen.
Soundscape. Menu.
And
Button. Search for a place or address.
Search.
Insertion point. Search field. 4005-101 Danbury LN. 770 feet southwest.
And that's the address
Back
around
button.
the corner that I put in so I could add a beacon.
Soundscape street preview. Save as marked. Start audio beacon. Button.
Okay.
Places nearby. 770 feet.
Okay, so that pinging sound you'll hear in your ear in the direction of that final destination.
Marker. Camden Drive.
As the crow flies. And I put that marker in a little bit ahead of the intersection because Farrah likes to blow.
Approaching intersection. Camden Drive. Goes left. Connors Drive. Goes right.
Likes to blow through the intersection so she can go left, 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 left. It'll make a different pinging sound when you're pointing directly at your beacon.
Heading northwest along Camden Drive.
See, I love that part. As soon as you have turned on another street, it will tell you what direction you're going and what street you're on.
Beacon, 900 feet.
And added sound effects. The dog barking. That's not Farrah. I will let you know.
Approaching intersection. Danbury Drive, goes left. Danbury Drive, goes right. Beacon, 910 feet.
Halt. Right. Okay, I'm hearing it in my right ear, so I know to turn right. Forward. Hop up. Hop up.
Heading north along Danbury Drive.
Hop up. We're heading straight now for the beacon. So it gives you
Beacon, 0.2 miles.
halt. Okay, well, I don't have time to go another 0.2 miles, but when you get there, it goes ding, 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 you've arrived, you know, that kind of thing. So I hope this has been helpful. And as always, these apps are not a substitute for good orientation and mobility skills. They accentuate what you need to have to be safe outside. So remember those good orientation and mobility skills, and then add this to enhance your experience outside and make it easier. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, Marian. Great. That was very good. I'm excited about the virtual one. That kind of got my curiosity. All right, so we're going to open it up for Q&A again. We're going to follow the same rules. If you have any questions for Marian, just state your name and I'll call you. Yes, Susan.
Yes. Number one, what is the name of that app again? And also, if I wanted to take a little walk, stay on the same street, but just go a few feet, I don't know how far, just several feet, is there something that I could do less than 50 feet? And as for hearing the sound, what if I wanted to use my UE boom, to go into settings from my iPhone, and go to where it says, swipe until it says UE boom, and to let it know I want to use that. Will that work so I could hear the sound? Because that would be the best thing to use. And I would be staying on the same block where I live, just to go a few feet. Thank you.
Sure, I'll try to answer, but I'll need a little help. Soundscape is the name of the app, Soundscape, and it's free on the App Store. You can just download it and check it out. I don't know what a UE boom is, but you can use this app.
Speaker.
Yes,
I mean,
Susan.
it's a I guess you call it a speaker. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only thing I know how to describe it. Maybe somebody else can say it better than me. Thank you very much.
Sure. Do you hold the speaker in your hand when you're walking then? Is that what you mean? Or
Terry Walker with a comment.
Go ahead, Terry.
What you would really need is something with unique stereo, because to the left or to the right, you do have some sort of an effect with the Wii Boom, but it's not like, putting on a stereo headphones or stereo earpieces where you can get a sense of where you are versus what you're looking for. But then again, that's all I know about, whenever you're trying to locate where the entrance is based upon your the beacon that you place there, or whatever. I'll leave the rest to other comments. So anyway, that's my comment.
Great, thank you.
No, that's right on, Terry. The best way to use this app is if you have either earbuds or headphones on over your ears, so that you're getting that sound either in just your right ear or just your left ear, or a combination that tells you basically what direction that pinging or that sound is coming from, of where you want to go. So
a speaker would not be as helpful, but I have found that this still can be a helpful app by calling out the street names and what direction you're going when you make a turn, which I don't know if Google Maps or Apple Maps does that. So, it would be less helpful than if you have stereo headphones or earbuds, but still helpful.
This is
Thank you.
Terry.
Yeah, go ahead, Terry.
I don't have any of those 4 types of headphones / AirPods that you mentioned, but I have used Soundscape with bone conduction headphones. Well, they don't call them aftershocks anymore. Now they just call them shocks headphones. And sometimes they work well, and sometimes they don't. I will often use my headphones and the Soundscape to locate the direction of my house when I'm taking my recycling and garbage to the garbage bin, which is located in a very open parking lot area. And so I put the beacon at my house. Sometimes it'll help me to find the direction that I need to go to locate the sidewalk that I need to follow to get back to my house, but sometimes it won't. And I don't know if it's just because I'm using something other than the recommended types of earphones or headsets. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, Terry, this is Marian. And I think to explain more about those 4 headphones that I mentioned, if you have those, then you can put your phone away. But otherwise, Soundscape uses the directional gizmo in the phone so that you hold your phone in front of you, and so it can tell which direction you're pointing and point you and which direction the beacon is relative to the way the phone is pointing. If you have those, if you have those headphones, then the gizmo is in the headphones, and so then you can put your phone away. But otherwise, it uses the phone to catch the direction of the beacon and then transfer that to whatever stereo headphones that you want to use. The other thing that is, a thing about this is it uses GPS, and GPS, just like with Blind Square and Google Maps and Apple Maps, is only accurate to within about 12 to 40 feet, something like that. And so, if you're trying to find a door on a big building, you have to walk across a parking lot or something like that. You might be off by a little ways. It'll get you close, but that is the problem with GPS, that it's only accurate to within, a margin of like 50 to 40 feet or something. Sree gave me a great idea using the air tags and putting one in the mailbox, or you could put one next to your front door or something. And then when you get close, your phone picks that up and it's accurate to a few inches. So, you can, if you can get close enough then for your phone to pick it up, then you can find the door at the last bit. But this will just get you to within the GPS margin of error.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thomas
I'm sorry.
Hutchinson, Grand Junction, Colorado.
I'm sorry. One person.
Sharon
Say your
first,
name
and then
again.
Thomas. Sharon, and then Thomas. Go, Sharon.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. Hi. So if I'm on the bus in New York City, so if I want to get off at, let's say I get off on the 23rd, I want to get off at 36, should I try to put a beacon at that intersection? Do you think that would work?
Well, I think you could put the address in of the bus stop or the intersection before you leave home and put it in the app, and then add that as your beacon. And then when you get on the bus, it's going to keep telling you how much closer you are until you actually get to that bus stop. When I heard that as an example of how to use it, I thought that was really good. So that's what I would do.
So it would give it to you like in feet. I mean, I don't know. How does it give you?
Yes, it will keep telling you how much closer you're getting to that destination. And I don't know on the bus if it will tell you the names of the streets as you pass by. I just know it does when you're walking, but it might also on a bus. But the nice thing is it will tell you how much closer by feet that you're getting to your beacon as you get closer. So when you get down to the last, bit, you're getting close. But again, it's there's a little margin of error there, but as far as a bus stop goes, it should be close enough to allow you to know when you reach your bus stop.
This is Ted.
Hang
Yeah,
on.
Thomas.
You have Thomas first. We're running out
Hi.
of time. Go ahead.
No, you're good. And I'm going to make this very brief. I will say, Marian, you did a very awesome job with this app. This is probably my favorite app that I have found in the App Store. If anybody wants more information, I personally use a Bose Soundwear when I walk or when I'm riding the bus or whatever. It's nice because it tells you where crosswalks are. It tells you where parking lots are. It's a wonderful app. And if anybody travels a lot, I would highly recommend this app. Now, my question is this. The street preview, and I haven't experimented with this yet because I just found out about head tracking. I saw it in the settings, and I just discovered the other day my AirPod Pros had head tracking. Do you know if, for example, if I'm standing out in front of Michael's craft store and I'm wanting to find out what's behind me, does the head tracking feature work so that you say turn around like 180 degrees and it's based on where your head is facing? Is that pretty much how it works? I love this app, and I can't say enough about this app. And if anybody wants more information about this app, I would certainly be more than happy to be a mentor to help people better understand it or do an extensive seminar on it. Thomas is done speaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. That's very, very nice. And just quickly to answer your question, I think the head tracking is based on which way your face is facing. And it's the same with when they say, hold the iPhone in front of you with the screen facing up, then it's going to track which way your body is facing. And so I don't think it gives you things behind you. No, when you ask, maybe for nearby, but definitely on the left, right, and front, you might have to turn around to see, to listen to what's behind you.
No, and you answered my question exactly as I was looking for. So thank you very much. Thomas is done
You're
speaking.
welcome.
Great.
You're welcome.
Sonny, do we have one more? Or are we timed out?
Oh yeah, go ahead. I mean,
Okay, we'll get one more question.
This is Paul.
All right, go ahead,
Okay,
Paul.
yes, and I hope you guys can hear me a little better. I have a...
That's all right. Let him go.
This is Ted.
Go ahead, Ted. You gotta
Yes,
speak a little loud because we can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me?
Barely hear you.
I've adjusted the microphone, so I thought I was a little louder. So I will not speak, only to say that I do use earphones, sunglass earphones, kind of like the Bose, but they're a lot cheaper than the Bose, and I can give anybody that wants it the information to get those less expensive Bluetooth ear set sunglasses. For anybody that requests it, I can get that for them.
All right, thanks, Ted. All right, Paul, we'll leave yours the last one. And
Well, just one quick thing. I use this all the time. It's a great app, and I use it with the Aftershocks bone conducting. My question is, and this is my assumption, perhaps I'm wrong, there is no valid use for this app within a building. For example, if you're in a hotel, you're going to be for a few days, you can't put a marker on your hotel room door and find your way back there because it's inside. That's my assumption.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't tried it. And, but I don't
I don't know. Again, the accuracy margin is part of the problem, maybe, but GPS should, if you're getting a cell phone signal, I would think you could place a marker in a large building, I think, but I haven't tried it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Michael Sadi, do you have any final thoughts, words, comments you want to make?
No, I thought everybody did a great job on their demos. Appreciate all the hard work that went into doing them, and appreciate everybody that came to join us this evening, and hopefully you got something out of that. We will, again, we've got iBUG Buzz tomorrow night, Mac Buzz on Tuesday, Android Insight on Wednesday, Trekkie Talk Thursday night, and Friday night at the movies. So just go on our website and you'll find all that information about when and times and all that good stuff.
All right, I do want to thank Herbie and Marian for helping me do the presentation. This cannot be, I cannot say thank you enough. And I also want to thank everyone who joined and asked these questions. And I look forward to seeing you guys at the next cafe.
Thanks,
So with
Sree.
that
Thanks,
said-
Sree.
And Farrah. Okay.
That was
bye,
worth it.
y'all.